Hi guys, and welcome to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today at Drayton Park Golf Club. I'm in my swing studio and today's video is all going to be about the trail elbow in the takeaway in the backswing. And the reason I'm filming this video is it's a question I've had quite a lot recently, a lot of confusion, and I just wanted to try and clear up and give you really a very, very simple exercise to really start to understand the role of that trail elbow, and it makes such a huge impact on the backswing and then leading into the downswing. We're just going to be talking about backswing today, but if you can get this position correct going back, it makes it really very easy on the downswing to start to get the right swing path, the right angle of attack, and make sure you're generating the speed where it matters. So the problems I tend to see with this trail elbow is when the elbow, one, either starts to move too far behind the person this way, so it's getting into this very deep position, and from there it tends to become more of a chicken wing that we often see with this elbow flying out away from the body. Or I tend to see a very stiff, rigid trail elbow, and almost that we're trying to keep everything very locked and very straight. What I like to see with this trail elbow at setup is just it flexed a little bit inwards towards my trail hip. So starting a little bit softened rather than too tight, too tense, too straight. In that first takeaway move, I want to start to see this trail elbow folding in a little bit towards the trail hip. What we don't want to start to see is this elbow moving a long way away from a hip and really disconnecting here. We don't want to create this connection by trying to go this way too much with our trail elbow and getting very stuck behind ourselves. So there is a slight folding into the hip, but you can see there hasn't been a real over-rotation. And it's an area I get a lot of golfers really trying to confuse themselves, and I want to show you a couple of simple exercises how I think you can get this correct takeaway move and into the top of the backswing. Because really from this first movement here where this elbow is folding in a little bit towards the hip, we just want to try and get that elbow to bend downwards, to fold downwards in the backswing. Now that doesn't put if I do this correctly, it doesn't put a lot of pressure onto the shoulders. This is the first exercise I want you to do. With your lead hand, I just want you to place it onto your trail shoulder. And I want you to go ahead and make some backswing positions. And it should feel like I can keep this trail shoulder in pretty much the same position it was before. And it doesn't feel too stiff, too rigid, too out of place. If I get this trail elbow moving very behind me, it starts moving this shoulder up, and I get to a stage where I just don't feel like I can go much further with that trail shoulder. Or I get players where they're really trying to work on this shoulder or this connection of this trail elbow, trying to get this elbow pointing down, that they get this sort of move. So it's a real under rotation. You can see my shoulders have hardly moved there, and players try and make a fuller shoulder turn, but end up having to stand up and out of posture. So this is a very uncomfortable position, and what you'll have seen there is a lot of rotation this way. So that would mean the inside of my trail elbow is really moving externally very, very quickly. There's a lot of rotation. So an external rotation of, if I'm talking about the inside edge of my trail elbow here, external is it moving away from my center, internally moving towards my center. So when players are trying to get this elbow pointing straight down, they're really getting this elbow working very externally. It puts a lot of tension, a lot of pressure on this trail shoulder. It would look like I've really under-rotated my shoulders unless I stand up and out of posture. So I really want you to do this exercise, maintaining posture. Put that trail hand on your, let me get it right, sorry, my lead hand on my trail shoulder, and just go ahead and wind up for a backswing position. And I can do that all day, and that doesn't feel tight or tense with this elbow and this shoulder here, more importantly. So you can see it's starting to fold in towards my trail hip, and then the elbow's folding downwards. Can I get it at this angle? No. If you're very, very flexible in your rotator cuff, possibly. But most of us, we're trying to get our arm pretty close to our spine angle. Okay, we're trying to get it somewhere there or thereabouts. If you've got real tightness and tension in here, you may even find you can't get that far. But if we can get this elbow pointing down, great, as long as we're not really forcing our body up and out of posture or applying a lot of tension into this shoulder, this trail shoulder. The other exercise, so once you've done some of those, just holding it, and this is again a really simple exercise. Just get a glove, do the Velcro up on it so it doesn't stick to you, and just pop it under that trail elbow. And just go ahead, or armpit, sorry, and just go ahead and try and make some swings, keeping that in while maintaining posture. So it's not this way where you can see it would drop on the backswing. I could keep the glove under doing this, but you can see I've got a very short backswing, or I'm standing up and out of posture. So you'll see that if you use a little bit of mirror work here. So I want to be able to maintain posture and go ahead and make my backswing position. So starting with that elbow a little bit bent in towards my hip, it's still staying towards my hip and it's folding down. That's the position I'm really trying to look for. So you can go ahead and then hit some shots with this glove under there. I'm going to go and hit just a couple. Glove works great. Anything that's quite small under that elbow. Where this may drop is about here on the release as my trail elbow starts to straighten. I just don't want to drop it on the backswing or the downswing. Let's see if I can keep it under. That's pretty good. Didn't drop at all there, but I wasn't trying to keep it in. The strike felt good. Figures were pretty minimal. It leaked a little right, but the numbers were pretty good, and the strike felt fine. So again, I'm just going to rehearse that movement I'm really looking for. I don't mind if the glove drops on the way through. Let's give it one more. And turn that one into a nice soft draw. Managed to keep that connection. Wasn't trying to keep it on the way through, but it did stay there. Don't worry about that part too much. So you can see good figures in terms of angle of attack. 4.5 degrees on the way down. My swing path very minimal as an average 0.7 degrees in to out. And my club face compared to target 0.0 and 0.6 degrees close. So really happy with those numbers, very minimal numbers, but really starting to get that connection feeling with this trail elbow. As I said, it's an area I think is really misunderstood. Golfers trying to force themselves into a very unnatural position where this elbow is working up and behind themselves, or they're really trying to keep this arm down, but they're putting so much tension and pressure into this trail shoulder, they're just standing up and out of posture. So try those two simple exercises, just holding that shoulder or the glove under that armpit while maintaining posture. And it's really going to help you get the feeling of this trail elbow folding correctly in your backswing. If you did enjoy the content of the video, if it has helped you, give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel for all the other content every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 5:30. And make sure you check us out on all our social media info platforms as well. Thanks guys, we'll see you next time.